Okay, that's a good thing, Isabella, to know actually. So if we, having discussions or people are giving their feedback or, talking about things they don't necessarily want to have recorded, can we turn the, the recorder off? We recording? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, okay. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah, okay. You'll find your way over here, okay? Yeah. Okay, a couple more minutes. We'll wait. We start. One more minute. That's right. That clock is just 1 minute behind me, I think. So we'll start on the dot. So I know it's a lot to give up your couple of hours on Saturday. Have you ever been in this room before? Yeah, you've been in this building before? Long ago. Yeah, but as you see, it gets very busy up here on the weekends. Super busy. Do you think they were all coming to this class? Everybody out there is coming to the class. Yeah, so it gets very busy. But this is the first time we've ever been over here and done these parent series over here in the space. And, because Tower Redwood School and the program, Creating Compassionate Coaches, is a secular program. It is based, I mean, my background is a student of Buddhism for, well, since 78. So a long time. But I guess it's a long time. Yeah. But still learning and still a lot to learn, a lot to practice. But we have always sort of kept the school just, okay, we're over there and the Buddhist programs are here. Because it's not, I mean, the program, Creating Compassionate Cultures, is not about a specific religion. It's not about religion at all, in fact. It's really about understanding the essence, in fact, in our inner potential as human beings and how we connect with our outer world as well in the interconnection between the two. So it's actually got nothing to do with religion. And even the Dalai Lama, I think for the past maybe 20 years or so, he's everywhere he speaks about sort of secular ethics and the importance of not, for people in the West, particularly not thinking they have to take, Buddhism to the West or people have to convert to Buddhism, but that it's just about, living and developing a good heart, a kind heart. And that's what the world needs. So I agree. And I see these little children as so receptive. They're just very close to those qualities that we call the innate goodness, that all beings have. So there's just a few more people coming, and then we'll start with a little centering. And we came over here because Land of Medicine Buddha thought it would be good to open this teaching up to people maybe who are on their mailing list, people who come, to attend programs here and don't really know anything about what we're doing at the school or creating compassionate cultures. So it could be of interest to other people. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes today. And in the back there, it introduces Isabella. So Isabella's our tech support. And Isabella works here at Land of Medicine Buddha. Thanks, Isabella. I always need tech support wherever I am. If I'm using any kind of tech at all, I need a support person. Okay. I see. I see. I didn't know that either. Okay. So let's get started. And maybe some people kind of wander in. That's okay. So we'll start with our centering, which is something that we do, as you probably all know. This is something we do at Tara. And of course, we start our meetings like this too. And we use the gong. You know, mindfulness, of course, has become a very current, more current, almost mainstream philosophy and activity for people. And that's interesting how much it's grown, to see how much that's grown. But there's a need, and people are starting to acknowledge that they need that time. They need that time to just go in and just, we all live very busy lives. So it's become very popular. Just being able to take that time to let go of any stresses. And the children find it quite, you know, some children more than others, but they learn how to center. We call it centering. And when we started Tara, because, you know, it's a secular program, we're not teaching Buddhism, but a secular program, and it still is. So we called it centering. We didn't call it meditation. That was back in 89. You know, so it's not as though we're teaching the children to meditate, but to find their center. And we talk about the center as being here at our hearts, our heart center. Okay. So we sit comfortably, whatever way you feel comfortable. And usually when you do your centering, that it's helpful to sit with your back straight, helps with the breath, following the breath. And we just do a little breath awareness. And then sometimes we do something a little bit more analytical, where we bring up some things to think about, right? And so this is the way we'll be going through our series as well. So we'll start with our gong. It's always a nice way to hear the sound and notice the sound from the action and just the ripple through the room. So just focus on the breath as it enters through your nose, comes in to your lungs, and down to your belly, and then slowly back out again, out through your nose or through your mouth, whichever is most comfortable. And try to focus just on that, breath entering and breath leaving. If you notice your mind wandering, gently bring it back to the breath. And now take a moment to reflect on why you are here. What is it that you hope to gain from being here? And then we're going to introduce ourselves after I ring the gong and share what came up for you. Hey. Yes. Okay. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. Who'd like to start? If anyone. Okay.
Loud
Yes.
a little bit.
Good.
My name's Will. I'm Rosalie's father, and I'm here to find out more about what she will be doing in school. We did something like this last year, but it was a lot smaller. The chairs were a lot smaller um, because it's a
Improvement
lot
then.
more comfortable. Get your knees up desk. Um, I didn't bring my notepad this time. Will
Oh,
there be handouts?
I've got a paper for you. So
Okay.
you're okay.
Um, yeah, just to learn what Rosalie's going to be doing in school and what we can do outside of school to promote that.
Mm-hmm. Up to the next person.
Robert. Kylo is my son. He's about 5. And I'm sorry, it was for my lateness.
Yeah.
Was there a question?
Yeah. What would you hope to gain from being here? The why of why you're here.
Yes. I think in general, the sort of loving tolerance, patience, kindness to approach to parenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be like, I think, the best thing I could possibly gain.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Passion, care.
Hi, my name's Eric, Matilda and Tallulah's father. And I think in that meditation, just thinking of cultivating empathy, just working on that within myself. And, and yeah, learning, just kind of being on the same page with what Matilda and Tallulah will be learning, just kind of learning a new language, especially with Tallulah's, she's 2, so she's talking, but you have to kind of have sensitive ears to sort of interpret what she's saying. So if she's learning new concepts, it'll be helpful to know that vocabulary, kind of pick up on it.
Hi, my name is Paige, and I have 2 children that are going to Tara Redwood. And in this moment now, I'm here for this peace and calm. I'm quiet. Um, it's just what I need, and then I also get to gain a lot of insight into the CCC curriculum and what my boys are learning. That feels like there's a lot of value there. I'm happy to be.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm Sebastian or Sebi's mom, and I'm here just to add more tools to my parenting toolbox and just be a better role model. I feel like maybe I didn't have the best role models growing up. And like when you become a parent, you kind of realize some of the things your parents did. Um, and so I just want to be a better parent for my children.
My name is Ned, and I learned of this school from Norma Lynn, who is starting here as a teacher this year. She's my neighbor. And for years, I have worked with kids who have gone through trauma. and offered support groups and workshops for parents who were and foster parents and people who were trying to be there for those kids. And I'm just learning about Tara, and I'm just thrilled to learn what I'm learning. Yeah, I'm just really impressed with what you've done, Pam.
Hi, I'm Gage. I'm Henry's mom in the Rainbow class. And I'm here to just learn how to be the best parent that I can for Henry. I want him to be very mentally resilient and strong and have um, strong mental health as he grows up. So I want to learn everything I can about trying to support him through that.
Hi, my name is Melissa Jackson. Is my Rainbow Room. Uh, I think this class and this series is, mirrored to what everybody's saying, to be a support for our kids, but also as our kids grow within the community, support others who might trickle into our houses as well. Everybody.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm Ani's mom. Ani's 3.5. She's in the mandala class. I've never been able to attend one of these. I'm really excited. I find out more. I can't say I have a ton of expectations. I'm open-minded. But yeah, I think for Ani, any tools that I can learn to help her be confident and happy and kind of like align with, what the curriculum that's here as great opportunities. I'm just really glad you're doing this. Thank you.
Healthy.
Hi, everyone. My name is also Chelsea, and my Chinese name is Xingfeng or New Phoenix. So maybe to differentiate, you can call me Phoenix in this class. I have a lot of purposes for coming here. So I really enjoyed your class, Unlock Your Potential, last month and a half, and with Pam and I think there's just a lot for me to continue studying with Pam and to really practice compassion throughout life. I don't have a child of my own, and I hope to one day. But in my work, I find that I am actually mentoring and parenting a lot of people from outdoor education. So with small children, with our interns from college to law school, and I'm also teaching. So I have a lot of I think a lot of things to learn as I grow in my capacity as a non-biological parent and mentor to many people.
Thank you.
You guys going?
Hello, I'm Darcy, and our daughter Rowan is also in the Rainbow Room. I'm so excited to be here. I would, yeah, love to come to this even if it was required. I think one thing I'm most excited about, I really love your description too of just mentoring. I think as a parent, just finding more and more tools to be able to come back to here. Especially, yeah, I'm feeling that lately. We have number 2 on the way and just entering a kind of a new chapter of parenting. So I'm really excited to be learning tools and the vocabulary that Rowan, that we're so delighted Rowan will be learning. Same pages as far.
My name is Sean. I'm Rowan's dad, and yeah, the key thing that came up for me was just assuming the attitude of a learner, and kind of feel like I've not been in that mindset for a while, because of like finishing school and wanting to get on with life, and I feel I actually really love being a student. So, and feeling my daughter step into that with school, and just it's fun to kind of connect to just learning, being in a place of learning. So thank you.
Hello,
I'm Jade, and I am Kai's mama. Kai, this is first day at Tara Redwood, and I am just here with an open mind and open heart, and have been serving LMB here for the last couple weeks, and I'm starting to integrate it. I'm hoping to integrate it more into our lives, and so I'm excited to be here with my son today, Ben, and learn.
Mm.
Hi, hi. My name's Mia, and our son's name is Owen. He's in Namasia's class up here, and I've been so impressed already. He's only been in school for 2 weeks. Just he's like centering at the breakfast table, like, just all around. It's just lovely, and we want to incorporate so much more of that into our daily lives. I think, and learn from him, and also be able to support that and sort of feel integrated with school and the community. Just all those wonderful ways of being. It's already paying off. Wonderful.
Hi everyone, my name is Elena. I'm Peter's mom. Peter is in Tara Redwood too, beginning this school year. Actually, I have 3 kids and I'm still learning and always trying to learn something else. So thank you so much for opportunity.
Hi, I'm Jeff, Owen's dad, and I mean everybody's saying all the good things, everything that I kind of thought I was going to say. So to offer something new, I think would be I kind of here selfishly because I think I've been orbiting this path for a bit, and I feel like having the family be in sync as we maybe all kind of see what's there for us is attractive to me. So I like that we're doing it together.
Hi, good morning. My name is Hedwig. I'm here, Kai's dad too, and I'm here to learn and become a better person, I guess. And when you become a better person, it looks like healthy to become a better dad, and even a better friend to your son or daughter. I'll take, and we'll learn from all of you, I guess. Keep learning. That's fine too.
Thank you.
There's one person that would like to share.
Okay, thank you.
Coming from Ashley Anderson says, I'm not in an environment I can. Oh, unmute right now. Okay. My daughter's name is Deborah, and I am here to take away anything possible to continue growing as a mother. Similarly to previously shared, I didn't have the best role model and want to find ways for my daughter and I to connect and have a healthy relationship as she grows up.
Okay, thank you, Ash. All right. So, I'm not sure that I need to introduce myself, but perhaps just in essence, the why I'm here for sure, just like all of you. I was a mom. I am a mom. And you will always be a mom and a dad too, or mentor. So yes, it was really for me, my journey was coming to this country, moving to this country from Nepal, and before that from Australia, and just realizing and seeing, what seemed to be missing in the education systems here from my observation and research. And what it really seemed to be missing was the focus on the inequalities, the heart, and in essence, the mind of the child. We're not talking about just the learning, the academics, but talking about that inner development of getting in touch with their thoughts, their feelings, and starting to understand, in fact, who they really were inside, what they did feel, what they did think, and they really thought about things. That time it was a very interesting time because what I felt was really missing was this sort of empathy that for children to start to really see how they connected with others, and how it's not just all about me, you know. And I'd come from a culture where, and teaching in Nepal for 10 years, and it was a very different culture. There was more of a sense of community or being part of a community, sort of a collective. Whereas here, there was very much a focus on the individual. And in some ways, that can be a good thing. In another way, it can get out of balance in a sense, right? And so there's so much focus, there seemed to be so much focus on the me that was creating a lot of issues and problems, not only at home, but in school and in these children's life, in the playgrounds that they went to play in. It was, if the focus is all about them and there's not that sort of nurturing to understand, others, and we're all connected with others as well, right? And your happiness that we're all striving for actually doesn't necessarily come from just thinking about ourselves and what I want now. It actually creates a lot of mental and emotional disturbance. So I'd seen where I'd come from a culture where there was more this focus on others and being part of this collective, but I knew that it wasn't just telling children, I'm a boomer, so we were taught to say please and thank you. And I knew that, we kind of threw all that out in the late 60s, and 70s. No, we're not going to tell them they should, but how do we awaken in the mind of the child the wish to be kind, the awareness and appreciation, to have gratitude, right? Right, that awareness. And I believed it was possible, and I'd seen it was possible in these other cultures, in these other settings. And I could see, of course, the parents just loved and adored their children, right? But somehow we, in our education system over here, how we were raised to, somehow that had gotten lost. We hadn't really figured out how to awaken that awareness. And even for ourselves, I mean, probably most of you, are you millennials? Probably most of you are, right? Yeah. So you were raised by, the boomers. And, we had a whole different, we were kind of confused too. We threw out a lot of the things that our parents, the ways our parents had just gone along, a little bit more influenced by that Victorian era, and we rebelled against it, right? But we didn't quite know what to replace it with. So we got a little extreme for a while. We kind of threw everything out, and we didn't give clear boundaries. We didn't guide the children. Let them be the free spirits they are, And after a while, we're just like, this is a little too much. This can't be right. This can't be the best way to do it. And so I always say, we need to take that responsibility as parents to guide, to be the guide, to be the guide. Not to be the authoritarian, you should, you must, because I said so. Definitely not, right? But to guide and for them to understand why. So I start to understand, and I see with children, if they understand why, right, then oh, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, right? So how to do this, how to awaken that in the children became very obvious. We tried a few different things in the early years of starting. But very soon I began to see, quite contrary to what that developmental psychologist was saying in the 80s, that actually children can develop empathy, and they can develop empathy quite easily if we believe they can. And I could see there was this sort of, not underestimating the ability of children to be able to develop those qualities of kindness, So, in fact, I'd seen, and working in these other cultures, I'd seen that children definitely can They can understand things that we would, as adults, think quite sophisticated. Really? You're teaching children about empathy? And at that stage, they were saying, development psychologists, like children, sorry, I think I didn't finish that sentence before, but children preschool age could not develop empathy because they are still focused on that, developing their sense of self. Well, that didn't really make sense to me. And we started to research. And you just have conversations with children. Everyone knows what it feels like to be, to want to play with somebody and then they don't want to play with you, right? So turn it around. How does it feel when somebody doesn't want to play with you? I mean, it's really simple. It's very simple for children to understand that. You ask them and you ask them the questions, and they can think about those things and they can understand them. So now we know from when I started this program in 1989 that developmental psychologists were saying at that time it can't develop empathy, children under like 6 or 7 years old. Now, research is showing that they're actually born with a natural empathy, that Darwin talked about as being sympathy, that awareness of others and others' feelings. But if we don't focus on that and we're focusing on other things and what our child wants, and we want to just give them what they want, that maybe it's not necessarily what they need or what's best for them, because we love them and we want to take care of them and we want them to be happy in the moment and in every moment, right? Then what happens is that focus on me starts to take over, what I want, not what others want. So that empathy and that caring for others isn't being nurtured. You see what I mean? And so it's how to continue to nurture that and through discussion with the children, through giving them the opportunity to do for others, right? But we as parents, I mean, I think we're always learning. The journey of a parent is a learner. And especially for our first child, we haven't done it before, so it's all new. And of course we want to do the best and we love our child so much, but it's like how to guide them with compassion. We have this unconditional love that we have for our child, but with wisdom, right? Of how to guide them, how to talk about things with them, right? So we tap into their wisdom. So we come from this sort of perspective that that is also sort of cutting edge research, that we are born with a natural, with innate goodness. We have, and all beings have, this innate goodness. So we come from that perspective, and our job as a parent and as a guide, teacher, is to tap into that natural goodness, right? To talk with them, and from our natural goodness, our deep, kindness, unconditional love, is to come from this perspective, right? From this place in ourselves, right? And remember that they have that in them, right? They have that goodness in them, right? And you can have conversations with them. I mean, now we know too, with what we would see back when we first started, is that children are very capable, right, of thinking about things in a more sophisticated way, critical thinking, discussions, and using their critical thinking through discussion. They tap into so much wisdom. They know so much. They can figure so many things out. Their empathy, but also they have this metacognition. Metacognition, they know that even children as young, before they're 12 months old, it's the ability to think about thought. Now that's sophisticated. Think about thought. To know and to track back experiences, and to learn from those experiences. Yeah. children are extremely capable. And of course, back in my generation, we didn't look at children like that. What was that thing, children should be seen but not heard? Something crazy like that. So we've come a long way. Yay. But still, it's like how to, and I've seen how to find that balance. I used to notice that the parents who would come to me for help, their children was crying so much that they didn't want to do this, didn't want that. And I said, well, they want to know, they're screaming out for boundaries. They're crying out to say, somebody must be in charge here. I'm just a little kid. Somebody must be in charge here. And they want us actually to be the one in charge, to be the one, who's there to guide them, to prevent them from doing something that actually they know is going to be harmful either to others or themselves. They want that from us, right? Not to just let the free spirits go, let them just be who they are. They want our guidance and they need our guidance. They're at the very early stages of this journey of life and they need that from us. So the interesting thing is that we're still on our journey, right? We're still figuring it out and we're still figuring out how we are or, how to be the parent we really want to be, right? Of course, we all want to be perfect parents. But guess what? We learn from our children and they teach us and they train us and they will push us and they will make our life torture until we learn what it is that we need to do for them. Isn't it true? It's true. They're incredible teachers. They're amazing teachers, our children, right? But we need to be aware. We need to know that we have a role in it too, and we need to guide them too. They're asking for that, and they will push us until we do that, okay? And we can do that. Yes, they're all different personalities, absolutely. I think my earring is rubbing on this and making the noise, isn't it? Keep noticing it. So that's our job. And it's exciting. It's amazing. It's magical and it's tough. Sometimes it's tough. And it requires that we keep rethinking, reflecting. But we're all busy. We've all got these busy lives, right? I mean, is there somebody here who's not busy? Hasn't got an agenda, a list of what you have to do this weekend? What you want to do as soon as you get out of this class? So we're scheduled and we've always got more we need to do, right? So to take the time, to take the time to just have reflection time is very helpful, And so this class too will offer the space even, just on these 4 weekends to take the time to also reflect on some of the things that have influenced you as a parent. I mean, where did you come from? Where did your thoughts and your feelings and your habits come from that are affecting the way you are as a parent, influencing the way you are as a parent? I would say that your job is the most important job in the world, I think. These little beings and how you nurture them, how you relate to them, how you guide them, is the most important profession, the most important job you could do. Because these little beings they are affecting the world. They are, and they will continue to in all their behaviors and, all their choices they're making. They're affecting others. They're affecting each children in the classroom. They're affecting children in the park. They're affecting you. They're affecting, the world. I say to the children, is this classroom part of the world? And they go, yeah. I say, wow, well, just making this classroom a happier place. Is it making the world a happier place? Yeah. So it's logical, right? And children love logic. They love logic. They do. They love it. They want to know why, right? That's one of the early questions they ask, right? But why? You know, but why? Then you answer something, but why? So they're curious. They're curious, and they want to use that curiosity, that critical thinking. You can go with them and ask them questions because they will respond. They will think about it. They know a lot. They'll come to figure things out. They'll figure things out. And that's why, as a parent and a teacher and in our program, it's a lot about that, asking the children, right? Asking the children, and they think about it. What we do know is we're going to have a reflection on this. So tell you a bit about how the class goes is that I'll talk a bit, sometimes too much, and then I'll try to stop. And then I will ask you questions, and then we'll also reflect on things. We'll have reflection time and discussion time and feedback. And so it's not going to be me just talking the whole time, I promise. Because it's really about you all, you know, and you all doing your own work, going into your own mind. What we do know too is, I mean, the way we think, the choices we're making, where does that all come from? It's good for us to reflect on that. We didn't just get here in this moment. And we were a child at one time. How are we parented? Why are we thinking, or why do these things come up in our mind about how we want to parent now? Or the best parent we could be? Why? Where does that come from? And so to start to reflect on those things and see, we know that we are habitual beings. We know that we absorb information from our environment, from the people in our environment. And if we go back through and reflect on our childhood, we were absorbing a lot from our parents or our caregivers, our teachers, particularly in those early years. So the mind, you know, they talk about the mind and the brain as being most absorbent, you know, in those early years, the first 7 years of life. The thing is, though, we know that that our mind continues to change and to grow. Our brain continues to grow. And when we do differentiate between the brain and the mind. So we talk about and refer to the mind as here at the heart center. So this is sort of the more, I suppose, intuitive part of us. You know, we feel things, right? We feel things here. We think things here, but we connect the thinking. This is like the computer, the brain, and it's physical matter. But we kind of connect it with here, with that heart energy, right? More intuitive, more feeling based, and really reflect on things here at this center. Not that we don't use our thinking capacity, you know, we definitely do. But we're more contemplative, I suppose, reflect and think about it a little bit, right, from here. So, I don't know if that made sense for you, but so we're going to reflect a little bit on our childhood, how we were parented. We're going to reflect on, you know, try to bring it to mind and see what comes up. We also know that that what is pivotal in a child's development, healthy development, is a secure attachment. And you all heard about the secure attachment, yeah? So that's just having that, at least one person in your life who offered that unconditional love, who really seemed to sort of see us, who we really were, not just our behaviors and what are you going to wear today, but just who we really were, deeper, right? And that offers us a secure or stable base in a sense and the confidence helps with confidence in our life, resilience, belief in ourselves, right? And some people don't necessarily, and we didn't necessarily have that as a child. We didn't necessarily have that in our home, in our first home, right? So we're going to reflect on that and start and see what kind of things come up, for us when we go back in time in our mind. Yeah, and see if there are some things that we feel we would like to strengthen, and some things that we'd like to, get rid of, change, right? For really guiding the children the way we really want to guide them, being the parent we really want to be. Okay. So let's have a reflection now. We're going to sit comfortably and we're going to have a reflection, which is centering. We're going to center, and then I'm going to lead you to, in a few thoughts, things you can think about, reflect on. Okay. So sitting comfortably, and usually we do close our eyes. Normally don't squeeze them tight. Need a little bit of light, just a little slit. Otherwise, you can get a little sleepy maybe. And eyes open, a little distracted. So we just close our eyes partially, need a little bit of light. Okay, and we'll go back to center on our breath to begin. And let's take a moment to go back in time to your earliest memory as a child in your home. Really see that home, the space, colors. Bring it into your mind. How does it feel? Who's in the home? Is there somebody in the home who really sees you, who really connects deeply with you? Unconditional love. Who is that? if not, who was it who did connect with you that way? And what was it that they did or said? How did they show you? How did they connect with you very deeply? So you knew you could always depend on them. How did you feel when you were with them? In what way did they affect your life or your sense of who you were and who you are? So we're going to just share the person who really connected with us, and how they did, what were their qualities and how that's affected you. And we'll be going back to reflect on our homes after we have a little T&P break. So I'm going to let you out for a bit of a breather soon after we have this feedback. So what came up for you as the person? We're going to call them your role model, perhaps, right? The person who connected with you deeply. I'm going to call them a role model. I'm going to put in here that you learned, because that's also how we can learn, right? From our role models. That there may be some things that you learn from them too that you would like to bring in, you would have liked, or we feel it would have been more helpful to you. So you've still learned from that person. But what they did offer, what your mom did offer you, was the gentle and the trusting, right? Being very gentle and trusting. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I appreciated that exercise. I felt like trying to go beyond just remembering like photographs of my childhood and really remembering like, yeah, what is my youngest, and realizing like for the first time, like, oh, that's how old my oldest daughter is now, is like my earliest memories. And I remember being outside a lot and being with my brother, younger brother, just like we're about the same age as my two kids are. So that was just a nice warm feeling to think about being outside, but like feeling like there was kind of always somebody there watching it. Would have been my mother as well, who was took a she really liked to just get out and go, just took us a lot of places to explore, and I feel like that transferred into me liking to just be on the go and seeing lots of things. I really just tried to sit in that moment. But reflecting on my childhood, I think that I appreciated that my mom took my side on a lot of things, like kind of being a little bit anti-establishment with the school. Like if you got in trouble at school, it wasn't just, well, you're in trouble now. It's like, well, what actually happened? You know, like hearing my side of what happened, and maybe I did get in trouble because I, was, you know, uh, causing a problem. But if that wasn't what happened, she would, she believed me and she trusted me that maybe my intention was okay, or that I actually was the wrong, accused of something that I didn't really do. And I feel like that's led me to have a lot of self-confidence like as an adult. And I can see how that just, having a parent who trusts you and believes that believes you would what you say to them, and that then leads to, there being more or less repercussions for your actions, can be a powerful thing for my kids, just to believe them and to sort of believe their earnest intention.
Mm-hmm. Believed you, trusted you, and also it seems like she kind of went with you to explore your curiosity in the world to around. Yeah, we can put that in, but we'll explore that again a little bit more later. But she was also curious about what your experience was, not just hearing what the school said. That's good. It's important. Yeah, trust. Come up twice here.
Oh yeah. I have both my parents alive still, and I feel very fortunate. And I spend a lot of time with them, and they're wonderful. And I don't think that I had like a connection like you both have talked about with them, like a deeper, more soulful connection with them. They were wonderful parents, and they provided a safe environment, and they were supportive and encouraging, and checked all the boxes. But you're talking about that kind of like who really saw you. I can't say that either of my parents really saw me. I think there were 4 children, and it's a lot. It takes a lot of work to get down for children. But I have a twin sister. The bond of a sibling, if you have something different, it's kind of hard to put it in.
certainly a connection.
So even as I say it, hard to articulate it. Well,
Talking about my writing. I always have to apologize for that, right, Chelsea? My writing. You can. Okay, good.
I think I was getting frustrated because I couldn't find the person in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that it was the group, big family, and the memory was sort of like loving chaos. It felt like, which is how my family is today still. But I think I had to kind of bounce around to find that form of stability in different qualities of different people. So I think I still do that. And I got very emotional thinking about it because it felt like it would have been nice to have one person that I could rely on. So I think in our parenting with our son, I'd like to think he has two, which would be great. As far as qualities that I got that I want to pass forward, it would be when I was seen, I felt like there was an appreciation for your uniqueness. It was almost like individualism above all else, which is not something that I subscribe to, but I do think seeing that there is a special ability within everyone to grow, to become who they can be. So I do feel like that was seen, and I don't see that as a bad quality to pass on to children.
Okay, thank you. So what are we going to say? You're going to connecting with the group,
Yeah, I think
with
so.
the family.
I think so.
The whole family and being part of a group.
Yeah.
But looking for your connection with that one special person who saw you, really connected deeply with you.
Yeah.
because it was very busy and chaotic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was there.
It was
It was
there,
spread around.
depending who
It
you
was spread
connected to
around.
at the
Yeah,
different points.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's
But you want,
putting it on the child to figure out how to find that.
yeah,
But that was
interesting. Yeah. How many in
I
your
maybe learned
family?
how to do that. 3 older siblings. So
Mhm.
there is probably a part of it. The deeper I think about it, my 2 oldest sisters, sure, when I was very young, provided a lot of that
Mhm.
stability that as I got older, I didn't really acquire.
Mhm.
But yeah, not sure what you would put on the board for any of that.
Okay.
Maybe there's
But
something there.
I'll say family, and then connecting with different people at different times in the family, different individuals in the family. And what was it that they saw in you or connect? How did they connect with you? They listened to you. They were interested in you.
I think they encouraged me to bring joy into the family if I could do that. I don't know. Like it was, yeah.
You were the baby.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that for sure. I think there's always a bit of entertainment value there.
Yeah. It's a very special position in a lot of ways. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they really valued you and you brought joy to them.
I think so. Yeah, I do think so.
Growing up, as my parents, they were both very structured environment. And on my mom's side, and that led to a loss of a sibling for her. So then I believe when we transitioned into parenting, it was with extreme structure and respect was earned. Kind of the thought of when Dr. said of children being seen and heard. So I think that my grandparents, very lucky to have 2 of them, saw that there was a need for compassion. And I have 2 people who were and the things I remember most vividly and making an inclusive, open, and throughout my early childhood memories, cooking and growing our food. I'm a very Italian family, so that was part of our growing up throughout. So open exception, just wholeheartedly faith kids.
I think you said compassion too, right? In the beginning. Yeah.
No judgment, but
Non-judgmental.
guidance was always there.
It's fun that you told about food because I was about speaking about my father and the way, yeah, I'm behind your back. I'm sorry, I couldn't see anything from this chair. um, my father, he was doctor and healer, and he was incredible because he was mixing herbal power and official medicine power, but he wasn't carried about himself. good enough. So that is why he passed away like 11 years ago. And he wasn't so good about speaking, but he cooked for us. So I have taste of love from my childhood. And without him teaching me how to cook it, I realized that I know how to do it, that I can cook this taste of life, love from my childhood. So first that I've got like in my vision, in my imagination, during this reflection, it was our house, summer, and smell. And my dad is cooking there. Thank you.
Nurtured us with caring and cooking.
I was a little surprised that my father came up too. And only because, we have a dynamic relationship and later in my life it was more dynamic, but something that you said about someone who really struck me, and I felt that from him, especially when I was really little. I felt like I always felt like he believed me, in a way that maybe I didn't feel and as much from others. And it was just it's funny that it was surprising because he's a very kind of old school masculine, very stoic personality structure. Not overly warm or empathic, but there is a steadiness to him and a stability that he always held whole thing. And I really felt like there was almost a steadiness of his gaze, or like the way that he perceived us as his children, kind of seeing us as ourselves.
So would you say he was steady? He trusted you. He believed you. So when you say believed, was it he believed in you?
Yeah,
He
it
believed in you.
really was kind of this unwavering belief in in my capacity, and yeah, this unwavering belief.
Anybody else?
Yeah, this was a great exercise. I think I come from South America, from Venezuela, from a very traditional family. My dad was a doctor, my mom a professor in the main university, and we had sport addictions. Doesn't cure, still do. I still do. And I remember, coming from an academic family, it was hard to kind of like they were expecting me PhD, they were expecting me, and my heart and soul was in sports all my life, and so I remember my dad wanted me to be a player, baseball player, and I didn't like baseball at all. He put me in this in the kindergarten, you get in the team. He put me in the team, just looking at the soccer field. While here, football.
Yeah.
So I would be there broken around like every day, looking at that team like, on the field, until one day my mom is like, "We're gonna do something relaxed. I think we're gonna try on the soccer team, and we'll figure it out with that." And I think my mom, um, being an academic, she never pushed me, never. I'm assuming she just had heart attacks every day about me, but she guided me. She even went to the when I made it to the team, I made it straight. And it's hard in South America. Everybody plays so well
Yeah,
in soccer.
right.
It's
Yeah.
like football here, Mary, American football, and I played tennis both at the same time, almost pro. And but they didn't allow me to sign with the team until I got a diploma. And when you get a diploma from a college, then you're done, South America. But I have great memories. My mama understanding, being empathetic about no matter what you want to do, let's do it. Even we don't tell you that for a while. We figured it out because he was so straight.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. It still is from her, and she's a great teacher. Like, and she was a teacher. She was a professor, so she understood how to deal with kids, how to understand even weakness, and how to even understand what others want to do. Needless to say, I went to college. Also gave them diploma, and I'm happy. They taught me really great.
So should we put your mom, your mother?
I would put my mom.
Yeah.
She just to finish this. I remember how I made it to the team. Like she went to the how do you call it? The officials of the league. She said, "Hey, many players in this team don't even have a chance to try because you guys just have the same starting team all the time, and people in the bench because I was new, so I was on the bench. They never saw me playing. So one day she goes to no, this is not for parents. This is the league official. No, no, no. I'm gonna talk to them the agenda. She spoke, and I'm so embarrassed. All the school's gonna know I'm gonna be in the team because my mom was making a big deal. And then they did a new tryout with a new coach, and I made it to the team and to the start team, and I never saw the bench in my life ever again. So I love my mom.
Supportive mom. She believed in you, right? And she gave you that chance, even if it meant she had to little white lie for the sake of her son, so you could follow what you really love to do, your passion. Yeah.
Okay, so a few on Zoom here. We have Marlene, and she says, my stepmother was my role model. I did not have the best childhood, and after my parents' divorce, my stepmother showed me the love and compassion I craved as a little kid. She changed the entire directory of my life, and I'm so thankful for her. My love for nature also stemmed from my stepmother. We have Ashley Anderson, who says, I have difficulty recalling a role model growing up, so I'm going to say the kindness of some teachers I had who saw that I was struggling. They attempted to meet me where I was, being kind, patient, and understanding. They continued to give me opportunities to explore possible hobbies, interests, and ways of facing troubles in life.
Teach.
And then last one, we have Simona. Originally, she wanted to share that she has 2 kids, 5 years and 6 months, and she's here to connect to herself, connect to myself so I can be able to regulate myself better, so I can teach my children how to regulate their emotions better. And she shared, for me, it was my grandfather who always made me feel like he trusted I'd make best decisions for myself.
to say my mom because my mom and I are extremely close. When I was picturing my childhood, I was imagining I felt sad and happy. I had a really good childhood, but it was so nice, like just that time was such a special time, my childhood. I miss it. I miss things being like that. But yeah, my mom has always just been. I mean, I've related to a lot of things you guys shared about just generationally, kind of. I think she was the youngest of four children, and really did did the best she could in many ways. And she has just wonderful manners, wonderful ethics, so much compassion. She's very smart, um, and it's just always shown up for me. So I think just consistency and sorry, suddenly like feeling nervous.
That's okay.
um, yeah, just I think consistency of like just showing up. She was always there for me. Made it to all the practices. Um, yeah, just we have such a strong connection, strong so much love. I'm not sure that I was always seen, and I think that where I want to improve with money is more of like showing up emotionally. There was kind of a lack of that, like emotional vulnerability, and being able to meet me emotionally. So,
So that taught you, left you feeling that's what you want to bring
yeah,
in. So you learned from her in that way too.
yeah. But in combination, this is so much better in my head than now that I'm talking. Can't get it
Yeah.
out. But my husband has, I think, parented me in so many ways that I know it sounds kind of weird, but where maybe I wasn't, that maybe as much acceptance wasn't there all the time. I feel like the combination of my mom and then meeting my spouse later in life and really being seen. I think that's what I was trying to say about my mom. It's like, because she's amazing. And I've always kind of put our relationship on such a pedestal and almost was afraid to have a child because I thought she was so, everything was so perfect. I think that's where I realized like some of the emotional wasn't always, like there wasn't.
Husband, good husband. Hey. No, you did well. That's good. Okay. Well, anybody else like to share, or would we like to have a tea and tea break now for 5 minutes? What would you like? Let's have a vote. Chelsea? Yes. Yes.
Really loved hearing everyone's responses. I'll just be brief. The tea downstairs is great.
Yeah.
Realized that I was really fortunate in my whole dad side of the family growing up and having grown up in Taiwan, the very collective mentality. My whole dad side family has been really nurturing to me. And I recently even had a dream about my grandparents from Taiwan that passed the past couple years ago. Just very short dream where we're in the light filled room and my grandparents are sitting on the bed. I think my grandpa was like kind of half laying down, and they both looked at me with kind, lovingness, kindness and loving manner, and my grandfather said, "You look just like your grandmother," and then they both smiled and that was the end of that dream.
Aww.
So I feel very fortunate.
Kind
But
and loving
yeah,
grandparents. Grandparents.
exactly. And I kind of like maybe broader than the exercise. I think a lot of this, um, a lot of people may have shown unconditional love to us, but in a human way that may not have been received like that. Um, and so even with my mom, who was very hard and very disciplinarian growing up, I see that even through that, that's unconditional love. And yeah, and so I'm very close with my parents. I hang out with them too. And just like yesterday, kind of getting out of the house, like she walked out of the house and saw me leave, and I know that recently that that has happened like my entire life. And I'm almost 40, and my mom still sees me to my car.
Oh, even when, what did you say? Very rigid. What was the word you used about your mom? Disciplinarian.
They're strict. Yeah.
Even when strict will do that. That was a kind of unconditional love. She cared enough, so much about you, and all she knew was to be how to care most for you, was to be very strict with you. Yeah. So I understand that's insightful. Yeah. Um, but how to, I guess the piece was with your grandparents, they connected deeper with that softness. Yeah. The kind and loving way, not disciplinarian. Deeper, a little softer, it goes a bit deeper. But the other holds you. Okay. Yeah. All right. So if you would like to get a tea, it is downstairs. If you'd like to go get a cup of tea and bring it back. Okay. Does anybody, you feeling like that? A bit of a bit of fresh air? T and P, we say. T and P. And if anybody feels they would like to share, well, when you come back, if there's time, you can let me know when you come back. Right out.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Hi, I'm not sure if anyone can hear me, but we can't hear anything on the Zoom link.
Because also, if you're having trouble with somebody or can't figure something out with the relationship, you can always sort of get some space and move away, but you can't with your children. Hey, there's no way out, and in that way, I mean, so many, different situations that right? And in order to do that, we have to figure out how we are, what is most important to us, right? How are we going to help them figure these things out? How I have to figure them out first, right? And a lot of these things, the way we were parented, how we grew up, we didn't necessarily work all those things and figure all those things out, right? And so now we get this opportunity with our precious children to do that work. But as we do that work, we're going to be able to offer them what maybe we wish we had or what we did have, and we want to bring it in. So that's our next activity. And you can do it while you're sipping tea. um, we're going to start to create our map of actually how we want to bring in these different elements that we're going to be discussing. Whether we do want to bring them in, why are they important? How can we bring them into our home, right? And what's very important is we have to reflect back, right, to find out deep inside, what is it we really want, right? For ourselves, for our children, for our home. And the home is sort of I talk about this in other classes, shows who came to class, and we talk about the home as being sort of like it's a container. It's like how somebody talked about it's kind of like we all pickle in that. It's like we bring those elements into our home that we really value. We bring our values into our home. But we have to really, it's helpful, let's say, to really reflect on what are my values? What do I really want for myself, for my child, for my partner? What is it that I really value that I want to strengthen in my home? Because a lot of the time, we're just we're reacting. We absorb information through our environment, from our environment, and all these different spheres of our environment as we're growing up. But what has a very powerful effect, and we know psychologically, is that our parents have the most profound influence on us and on the development of our child. Profound. But we just kind of accept it. We're absorbing it and we go through our life and we just kind of go on from there. But the going on from there is very much influenced by where we start from, right? And what we nurture in the home. So it's very important. It's very, very important for us to take the time to really reflect on it. So let's do that. Let's reflect on it first, and then we're going to choose a color from here. And we're going to learn about what the colors represent and how we use color in the school to represent different qualities. And it's a good, helpful reminder. So you can color. But let's see if we do the reflection, what color attracts you most of all to use. And then we're going to be working on that paper, okay, with what we reflect on now. So sitting comfortably, we're going to center again. And then we're going to go into a reflection. And then we're going to do the activity. Then it'll be time to go. All right. comfortably. Mhm. Just try to focus on the breath coming and going. You notice your mind wandering, gently bring it back to the breath. So let's reflect for a moment on your home. Your home. The home that you are co-creating with your partners, with your children, family. What does that feel like? Really visualize yourself in your home. Home. What does that feel like? What are the qualities that you feel are very present in your home? Having reflected now on your home as a child, where you started from, what did you see that you would really like to bring in to your home? Or perhaps what you would prefer not to bring into your home. So really visualize that and get a feeling for it. Even colors, the things you have in your home. This is your sanctuary, the home base. It's a space that you all share together. And just as you, when you think back to your childhood in your home as a child, how that felt and those feelings still come to you. What kind of feelings do you hope your child will remember when they grow up? And reflect back on their home. So thinking about those values, those qualities, those values that you really want to enrich in your home. We absorb, and our children absorb that energy, those, even the traditions we celebrate at home. What is important to you as a parent to bring into the home? What kind of celebrations? How you celebrate? What they represent? You are the creator and the co-creator of that sanctuary. What do you want to bring in and strengthen? And why? do you want to feel and for your children to feel when they come home, when you're at home together or on your own or sharing with others? What do you want to share with others? As we were saying with the children, classroom is a part of this world. The home is a part of this world. And what we do in our homes is actually affecting the whole world. So what way do we want to affect our children, ourselves, those around us, our friends, those who come and go? When you're ready, I'm going to ring the gong and I want you to come and choose a colored paper and a pen to write with. And I will instruct you how we use that. But what I want you to think about is the qualities or the values that you most value, that are most important to you, that you want to bring into your home. And then in the center, I want you to think of the most important, that is most valuable to you as far as those values go. And that will go in the very center of the paper, in heart. So we are going to divide your paper, actually, into pieces. So I'm going to give you a demonstration here. Okay. In the center, we're going to have a heart. And then you're going to draw a line. We're going to divide your paper. Okay. I'm going to divide it into 8 sections. That most important quality or value you're going to put in the center in your heart. Okay. Then this first section here is actually going to be your role model. And you're going to jot down those things that your role model really taught you. What were the qualities? How did they connect deeply? The next section are your values, your home, what you want to bring into your home, what qualities and what values you want to bring into your home. And we're going to be working on this throughout our 4 weeks. Up on the top, yeah, see, you just write in that section. Just jot down. And at the very center, that value or the quality that is most important to you out of all of them. At the top will be the role model. So writing down there, that person who was your role model and why. This section, next section is your values or the qualities you really want to fill your home with. You want to guide your child with or your children with. What are those qualities you most want to bring in to your home, your values? whatever values for you. Yeah. What are your values? And they very likely are related to your role model. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, we're just about to finish. Sorry. Okay. So it is time to finish. And I'd like you to take your paper with you. And if you can work on it at home and bring it back, can you remember to bring it back with you next class? And we'll keep working through it. We'll be doing all these different sections as we go through these 4 weeks. So it's might be helpful at home to create a time where you can sit with your paper, reflect on what we've covered, and see what comes up for you. Being in the home, you'll start to get a sense of, oh, there's another one, and you can jot it in there. Okay. So this is creating your map, what you want to bring in and infuse into your home and into your life. Okay. All right. So the next week we'll be covering. We'll be finishing up a little bit with this one, which is, the values and the home, and then we'll be going into how we actually are going to create that, and building our dreams. We're going into interconnection and change, and that will be next weekend. Okay. I hope you can all come as we keep building on it. So thank you very, very much. And for those who have their children at Tara, thank you for trusting us with your precious children. And look forward to spending more time with you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, well, you've had it. You're ahead of the game. But it wasn't applied to parenting that